Well, g'day again, it's Max here, back in the shop. Well, today we've got something a bit different. We're going to go out and have a look at the tractor. Now, I've got the old backhoe out on the farm, and she's been getting a bit worse and worse. It's quite tired, it does the job still. Now the engine started popping and missing and farting and carrying on, which it hasn't been real good for a fair while. So we're going to go out today and try and diagnose and determine what's actually happened, so we can go directly to the problem rather than pull the whole shebang apart and look. So that's the basis of today. But while I'm thinking about that, diversification, trade diversification is a little topic which springs to mind with me, because I done my trade a long time ago as a fitter machinist. Now, back then, fitter machinist was taught a more wider variety of trade-related skills as they went through the trade training, as opposed to like nowadays, which is a totally different kettle of fish. But even before my time, if I go back to my father's time, so he would have been doing his time and training in the 1950s, early 50s, and I was just looking at one of their trade books, what they used to have back then. And now this is from the Post and Telegraph workshops, which you don't have anymore. Everything's digital, I guess. But it goes into, for a fitting and machining trade, it goes into automotive suspension, brakes, diesel injection pumps, motors. There's a big section on electrical, magnetism, AC and DC motors. What else have we got here? There's a section on carburetors, pattern making and moulding, and a big section on levers, pulley blocks, and belts. There's a big section on flat belts, which you don't get that sort of thing nowadays. But the old guys from done their time back in the 50s, 60s would have had a very broad range of, well, depending on where they worked, of training, you know. So, but it's just a point I've just thought about compared to what happens nowadays. I know with our apprentices at work, you know, it's like tunnel vision training for them. They don't get to see the whole picture outside of their direct trade, you know. So, but anyway, what we're going to do, we'll head out the farm, and we'll have a look at this tractor and see if we can nut out what's going on with it. Right, catch ya. Well, mate, what are your thoughts on that? Swapped number 1 with number 3 over already, and the same result. So I'm thinking it could be an issue further on in. Okay, so after we swapped number 1 and number 3 injectors over on the tractor motor, we found that the engine still wouldn't idle. It still died when we cracked off the fuel to number 1. So As soon as you isolate number 1 cylinder, the motor won't idle, it dies, which leads me to believe there's an issue in cylinders 2 and 3. And the only thing I can think of which would do that would be a piece of head gasket blown out between cylinders 2 and 3. So I've just done a compression test, and number 1's right up there. I only had an automotive gauge, so it's not a proper diesel tester, as diesels run a lot higher PSI compression. But cylinders number 2 and 3 had about 230 PSI, both equal. So we then removed the rocker gear so we could pressurise the cylinders with an airline, just to verify. So we put an airline in, and then we found air coming out of cylinder number 3 when we pressurised cylinder number 2. So that's why we had all the rocker gear off, just so none of the valves were being held open. So that's a definite indicator there's an issue of a head gasket between cylinders number 2 and 3. So we'll pop the head off and we'll have a look, see what we find. Well, there it is. Looks like the head gasket's blown out between number 2 and number 3, just through this area here. When we removed this head bolt here, you could see it was all carboned up. Yeah, so that's the problem there. But we'll come over to the motor. What we see here is a bit of an issue. So the gasket's blown out just across here. Okay, that's not really a big drama. There's causes for that. If you line a protrusion, like the amount the liners, the cylinders stick up above the top surface of the block is too low, that will cause that. Well, that's one thing that'll cause that. The other issue in number 2 cylinder, now I don't know if we're going to be able to see this. It's going to blow out with the light. Okay, we're looking inside number 2 cylinder, and there's an issue here. You see there's a crack, and the hairline crack runs down that liner. So that's a bit of a major concern, as that liner needs replacing. So we'll make a decision on what we're going to do with that. Okay, well, we contemplated the works that are required on the tractor. It took me a full 2 minutes, I think, to work that one out. As regarding the cylinder liner and the head gasket, we're just going to replace the head gasket because I've got an urgent job I need to do here on our property with regards to the construction of our new workshop. Now, I'm certain the cracked cylinder liner will hang together, hopefully, till the end of this job, and then I could possibly look at either pull the motor out, maybe change the liners, but we'll see, because there's a fair chance if the liner's cracked, the cylinder will need reboring, and I'm not sure if you can get oversized OD liners for those engines, or I've got to buy another short motor, which is something I don't really want to do at the moment, because she's an old tractor and it only plods around here on the farm, and we'll see how we go anyway. So what we've got to do, I'll swing you around. Okay, so we've got to put a driveway in across through to those trees, and it will come across right where this pile of rubbish is, and then across through here into this paddock, which we will construct the new workshop machine shop. But yeah, as I need the tractor going, I've gone and made this rubbish pile, been cleaning up on the farm, right where the driveway's got to go. So we'll get the old Massey going again and get the driveway cut in and the shed pad sorted out. Then we'll address the tractor motor. Okay. Well, that's it in a nutshell. The tractor engine, that's how it's going to be. We're just going to put a head gasket in it, put it back together and see how it goes. I'm prepared to take a chance on it because I've been working in the earth moving industry, even though I'm a machinist for a long time now. more years than I care to remember. And over those years, you come across a lot of instances like how many Detroit two-stroke engines have people worked on. I know I have myself, that have dropped cylinder liners. Just put another liner in, send them away again. Whereas you know the block, they should have an oversized liner fitted in that. But sometimes you have to do what you have to do to get things happening. So at the end of the day, we'll put it back together, we'll take a chance on it, and hopefully it will hold together till the end of the job that we have to do with it out there. Now, I'd like to give a bit of a thanks to old Bundy Bear Shed, or Lance over there in Queensland, for helping us out with the topping and gasket set. So that was good of him. And yeah, check his channel out, Bundy Bear Shed. You'll get some great info on tractor repairs. So, but anyway, we'll hope for the best, and we'll see what happens. Catch ya.